Well, we can kind of see your dad's head. It's kind of dark. Okay.
All right, tonight we're going to talk about rights for convicted felons. I'm going to touch on three topics. The topics are voting rights, having a felony, trying to get a job. The third one I'm going to talk about is food stamps, trying to get some kind of support on getting groceries and stuff. The reason why I picked this was because this is going on in America every single day because of people making mistakes in life. And when they make a mistake, everybody deserves a second chance. But society today in the United States, it's hard for a person that makes a mistake in life to get out and have a life. And a lot of them's got kids. Well, I was reading in an article published by the Washington Post. It says that 5.85 million Americans are subject to felony disenfranchisement, and almost half of those people are out of prison. So why in a society that supposedly promotes rehabilitation for offenders are we taking fundamental rights of citizenship from these people? We don't talk about voting. Taking voting, for example, did you know that according to procon.org, there are 12 states, including Alabama, that restrict voting rights for felons even after they complete their sentence? Meaning, you get convicted of a felony, you get 3 years. They put you in a rehab. You do your rehab time. When you come back home, you're not allowed to vote. It is like that. They punish you for a lifetime, not just for the term of your sentence. Another article in the New York Times claims that former offenders who are allowed to vote are less likely to return to prison and more likely to be reintegrated into their communities, meaning that you give back their rights or make them feel like a human being, that they're going to learn from their mistakes and they don't get back in with society. But we don't got a choice in that because with everybody else looking at our background, a piece of paper is what they look at. It's a piece of background. Even after we've done our time, our sentence, we owe our punishment, we're wrong, we still got a piece of paper on our back judging us. The second thing I want to talk about tonight is jobs. It's hard for a person with a felony to go and get a job at McDonald's, Chili's, Logan's. These are little restaurants that 16-year-old, 15-year-old kids start to work at. Yeah, people make some mistakes. They get on drugs, they steal, they do all these things. Some of them's not raised up in a right family because they got to do what they are. Everybody's got a whole different lifespan, which American people don't look at. They look at, oh, they're a problem, they're troublemakers, and they go by that. Well, I found in a 2008 study conducted by the United States government, the government now, only 40% of employees surveyed said that they would consider hiring someone with a criminal history. 40% considered. That means 60% of them out there. That's over half of Americans won't hire nobody. Conclusion of this study found that a felony conviction or imprisonment significantly reduces the ability of an ex-offender to find a job. So that means that once you do your time, you can't vote, but you've done your sentence, you've been away from your family, you learned your lesson, which some people do go back. When you get out into society, I know you got restitutions, you got fines for the criminal crimes, but how are you supposed to pay them when society is not giving you your job? You can't get a job, so how are you supposed to pay a $50,000 restitution? How are you supposed to pay to go to a Celebrate Recovery class that's cost $30 a week or so? But see, this is the thing. We need to find a way that you do your time, let them back out in society. The third thing I'm going to talk about is food stamps. I read in AmericasWire.org states that convicted felons have difficulty getting jobs, and public assistance and food stamps are crucial. 10 states, including Alabama, still ban people convicted of a drug-related felony from receiving food stamps assistance. Okay, Alabama does not allow people to get food stamps because of felony. Okay, there's people out there with kids. Now, if you can't vote for the rights to get your rights back, but then you can't get out because you got a felony, you can't get a job, but you got 2 kids at home. How are you supposed to feed them kids? How are you supposed to pay that child support if you're on child support? If you can't not support your kid by getting a job because of a felony, and then you can't get food stamps to feed your family, you're nothing to society. You've lost everything in life even after you've done your sentence. So why can't there be a way in Alabama to give them a program that when they do their time, that the government makes? Not Home Depot, Walmart, or just to put them back out here, work in prison, make $2 a day, working your butt off. When you do a 3-year term, you got $1,500. What is that? Well, the thing about it all is you can't vote, you can't get a job, you can't get food stamps. How are you supposed to pay your fines, feed your family? These are the things that makes people go back to prison because they cannot get a job, so they go back to the old way they used to be, selling drugs or stealing. Then you don't got to say so on what's going around in the place where you live in. So if you don't got to say so, that's going to make you feel this big. Well, then when you can't feed your family or can't feed yourself, what do? You go back to stealing, or you go back to doing what you do best. That's doing the drugs, selling the drugs, or stealing from your family. So I say today that the government in America needs to find a program, because there is some people out here that does get sentenced 20 years that gets on a probation, don't get sent to prison. Just because they don't get sent to prison, I know prison got work release programs, but what if you don't get sent to prison and you're at home trying to do your probation from an at-home probation? Them are the people that suffer because they don't go to prison and get a work release. And that's all I got to say about this. And thank you for your time.